Hello, you guys. This is Jenny from Seasons Change, and I'm a wife, mother, and recently retired teacher. And we are geared here towards the Generation Xers and baby boomers, ages 50s, 60s, and above. And we talk about things that are very relevant to our age group, such as retirement and maybe making extra money in retirement, grown children, loss and grief, and savings, and making retirement the best it could be. Anyway, please stay until the end, because if you know my channel, I will show you a couple of pieces of pottery that I make. I sell them for as little as I can, just to cover the shipping and maybe a few extra dollars to put back into the clay. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And today we are talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is staying authentic to yourself. Being authentic is so important, and so many of us may not know we are not being as authentic as I learned the hard way. So we, most of the time as we are growing up, of course there's peer pressure, but we try to fit in, and even well into adulthood, we want to be liked and fit in, and fit in with the group, and be accepted. And then, a lot of people have said, well, I've always thought that if I wasn't my self, that people would like me better, because if they knew who I really am, it's not so great. They may not like me. So yeah, I try to go along with the group and act like everyone else, which you'll never be happy yourself doing that. So let's get started. Just please stick with me, and this will all be clear as I talk about it. So being authentic, okay, if you're not, you can get very stuck and very unsatisfied, and maybe you're not really realizing why you don't feel happy and satisfied in your life, because if you're not being authentic, you'll never really know what you want out of life, and therefore it leads to not being as satisfied as you otherwise could be. Embrace what makes you different. Embrace what makes you authentic. It's okay. You are different. We're all different on so many levels. Overcome your unauthenticness. I think that's a word. But overcome your inauthenticness. When we're children, we are socialized. We're raised to fit in. We're raised to believe certain things in society, and how to act in society. And it's called our adaptive self, which is really good for some things like holding down a job, and being professional, and sometimes how to talk to people that you're trying to set up in business, and so on. It's good on some levels. But if you live your life in that mode 24/7, then that you're not being real to who you really are. So let's get into the ways to become more authentic and what it is. So I personally do not like fancy. I don't like being in fancy restaurants. I don't like being in fancy situations. I never have. I've always been uncomfortable with that. I don't like being around big groups or a lot of people. And I tried for a long time because I thought that was what people do. Why do I feel different? But don't like it, never will. And now I'm living true to my authentic self. I very, very seldom will you see me in a situation like that. Negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is another thing that can keep us in our not being authentic to ourselves. Like, oh, I don't really like who I am. I don't fit in. I never fit in. Why isn't anyone getting up and talking to me? Well, you know what? You will always find your pocket of people that are really like-minded. Always, if you look, they're there. There are people like you that will just adore you for who you are. What is it you like? What do you like surrounding yourself with? When do you feel most peaceful? Where do you feel your best? What kind of clothing do you feel most comfortable in? What do you like in your home? What kind of decorations do you like? What kind of environment suits you? So, my husband has a cousin who was raised with, upper middle class in a big city, lots of money and things around, very ornate house, very kind of a modern and ornate, and lots of things. And he never felt comfortable there and said that. And now he has been living for like over 2 decades. He lives in Washington State, but in a very, very remote area. It's like very beautiful and foresty and all nature. And he lives off grid, meaning that he grows his own food. And we did visit. It's a very humble place. And every single thing in there he made himself, and it is very functional, whatever he has in there, and very beautiful in terms of nature. It's just amazing out there. But he said, I'm living my true, authentic self where I want, and I'm happier than I've ever been. There's a book that was released in the late 60s, and by I think it was 72 became the bestseller for years. And it's still around. It's called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And the author really takes a real deep dive into finding your authentic self and how many people read it and felt free for the first time living true to who they really were and not through the eyes of others. Some people were raised with very controlling or strict parents, and so they spend their whole life seeing their world through the lens of somebody else and always lives in that realm of somebody else instead of through their own, authentic, true lens of their world. So it's one of those really great books. There's another book too called I wrote this down, the Courage to Be Yourself, and that's a newer book, much newer, and a great read. So I hope some of these things start to make you think about who you really are and live your authentic self, which is the most freeing thing that you can do. I'm going to give you homework. Okay, so your homework is just between you, and the homework is think about things that you do today that is this my authentic self? Am I living where I'm supposed to be living? Am I surrounding myself? Are the people that I'm around, my friends, does it feel right? Is it me? So you'll see, there'll be changes, and it's really cool. So if you know my channel, you know that I will show a couple, today I have one because it just came out of the kiln. So as you know, I love the blues and greens. This is, I call it my little ocean series, the bottom of the sea or the oceany. So love these colors. Please subscribe if you have not. I really appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day and be authentic. Bye.